Warning, containing graphic images and sensitive content. Some viewers might find the following information distressing.
I went from sober to throwing up in 5 minutes.
I was spiked by a stranger on a night out.
We got injected
I was
in the
found by
arm
my
and
two
they've got
mates.
By 2
having
a.m. last night, I'm
convulsions.
still
Well,
going
it's
to
like
like traumatized and
paralysed on the
Seriously
floor.
enough.
Hi, my name is Abby Rayner, a third-year student here at Birmingham City University. Today we're going to investigate the rise of spiking in Birmingham. Let's be real, uni students love to party. With a variety of different events and socials, it makes it the hot spot for a potential spiking.
"43,000 people have been spiked in the UK since last year. The current sentence for drink spiking can be up to 10 years. Only 37 offenders have been convicted of drink spiking in the last 4 years. In Birmingham, a huge 387 reports of drink spiking were made to West Midlands Police during 2021. So I personally haven't been spiked, but I've witnessed a few of my friends being spiked. I was on a holiday with one of my best friends, and she came back and she was acting very different. She was saying that she was seeing things. She was saying that she thought people were in the room with us. I was very confused because I've never actually seen someone say that sort of thing before. So I made sure that she was all right. I made sure that she wasn't going to be sick if she was just too drunk. But she was acting very out of character and not her usual self. So how I supported her was I made her lie down in the bed with me. She kept saying that she was really, really hot and then suddenly really, really cold. So I'd make sure that she was either, comfortable and she wasn't too hot or too cold. I made sure that she was drinking plenty, and I just made sure that I was just, there, and she needed because she needed someone there. It wasn't. I feel like it's probably such a scary experience, and just me being next to her just made her feel so much better. So I just made sure that I was always looking after her and stuff. The reason why I've chosen to do this documentary is because it's such a massive part, especially at uni. I feel like everyone knows someone that has been spiked. I'd say a handful of my friends have been spiked quite badly. So I just wanted to spread awareness, and also there's not many documentaries out there at the moment about this situation, so I thought it would be really good to, investigate and just look into it. When I was researching for the documentary, I actually found that there wasn't many support systems out there. There wasn't anything on the NHS website, so doing this documentary would be able to help people and figure out what help there is out there for people if you have been spiked. Recreational drugs like ecstasy, LSD, ketamine and other party drugs are most used to spike drinks. However, perpetrators have started to turn to more sadistic methods such as using dirty, reused needles which can transmit diseases such as HIV,
hepatitis B and C, which can be life-changing for victims such as Lydia. Welcome to Selly Oak, Birmingham's biggest student village, where many residents live from Birmingham City University and University of Birmingham, such as myself. The main venue here is known as Circo, where its incentive is cheap drinks any day of the week, perfect for the stereotypical skint student. We are here to talk to victims Lydia and Katie. Let's see what they have to say.
But do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name's Lydia. I do political science and international relations at University of Birmingham.
Do you want to go into detail about your story?
So, we went to Nightingale's Club on February 18th this year, 2022, and everything was normal. I didn't notice anything different, but one of my friends was acting strangely and out of character, and then the next day I woke up and my arm was killing me, and I was very confused because I saw this bruise and I hadn't noticed anything different throughout the night. And then two of my other friends also noticed that they had had a bruise on their arm as well. So we started to question, like, oh, is this a spiking? But I didn't realise because I was like, I had a jacket on, and I presumed that meant that I didn't get spiked. But then I checked the jacket and there was a puncture mark where the needle was. So we went to A&E the next day and got a hepatitis jab. But my practitioner was really nice, and she had also been spiked by injection in October. So she understood the situation, how severe it could be.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a third year media and communications student at Birmingham City Uni. I'm originally from Buckinghamshire and I live in Selly Oak.
Do you want to explain a little bit about your story?
Yeah, so basically a couple of years ago I went out with some friends. We went to one club first, it was really fun. Then we ended up going to another place, O'Neill's. And I was having a great time, I'd only had a few drinks there at this point, maybe 3 or 4, which for me isn't really a lot. I'm not really going to feel, drunk or anything by that point. But all of a sudden, my memories just completely cut out. And basically, I don't really remember anything until I woke up the next day. But from what my friends told me, I just started stumbling around. I could barely, stand up. They took me back to my friend's house and I was throwing up all night in a sink. Yeah, it was really awful. And then the next day when I woke up, I was paralysed. I literally couldn't move. I couldn't feel my legs. It was really scary.
Did you look for any support from maybe local charities or your uni after the incident?
I'm in the process of signing up for therapy at the moment to deal with the situation. I think it's just knocked my confidence a little bit with going out a little, not too much, but I definitely don't feel as safe as I used to.
No, obviously when it happened, my friends didn't take me to the hospital or anything, so the next day when sort of the, I don't know what I would call it, temporary paralysis wore off, I just kind of moved on with my day, just kind of tried to forget about it.
Did it put you off from going out after this?
For a little while, yeah, but after a month, I didn't really want it to affect me, I didn't really want to be held back by something that happened to me, so I find now that it's just easier just to not really think about it and just to try and buy drinks that, are in a bottle so you can put your finger over the top.
So I went back without drinking just to make sure that I was aware and wouldn't overthink, or just to feel in control of the situation. And they'd increased their security measures. I still felt more wary of people around me, But I've still went back, and since then I've managed to go back again and actually enjoy my time there. So it hasn't restricted me too much, luckily. But I know for like some people it probably wouldn't be that easy.
Do you think that clubs and bars should be stricter with security and precautions and stuff?
Yeah, so if you don't check, you don't find, and I feel like there should be a ban on large coats, because it's really strange to see people wearing really large coats in the middle of a hot club, and to me that is extremely suspicious. I feel like if large coats were banned, there'd be less of these incidents, because there'd be less place to hide whatever they were using to spite people with.
Definitely. I mean, I think recently in Birmingham I've noticed that it's become a bit stricter. They definitely, with boys, are more cautious, like they get, you know, patted down and stuff. I have noticed that with women they don't really care, like they just want to look in your bag and then send you on your way, you know, they don't pat you down or anything. So I think definitely on like the women's side of things there could be some more effort put in there, but I guess they just think it's probably all men, but I'm sure it's not, you know. Yeah.
Do you wish that you had more support, like maybe somewhere to turn to at the uni, or?
I mean, to be honest, I think if I'd asked for it I would have gotten it, but I'm not really the type of person that goes looking for support. I kind of prefer to deal with things on my own. I don't really like, you know, random strangers getting involved in my business, so I would just prefer not to say anything to anyone. But I'm sure if I had expressed my concern for what had happened, that I would have had support.
Yeah, with the university there are support networks out there, and I can access them, I just haven't yet. And it's on, I will do that at some point. But also I think the university do have their own issues, because spiking is a thing at the guild, and every university should take it seriously because it's their students, and people can die from this type of situation. I don't know why it's not being taken more seriously, really.
I can't believe their stories. I'm really disgusted to know that this is happening so close to home. Those poor girls. I really hope they get the support they deserve. Let's go see what West Midlands Police are doing to help prevent and protect clubgoers in Birmingham. I'm outside the headquarters in Birmingham city centre to talk to Police Crime Commissioner Nikki Brennan, who is the voice of people and holds the police accountable. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
So my name is Nikki Brennan and I'm the Victims Commissioner for the West Midlands, and my job is to advocate for victims of crime. So the police are working with our bars and our nighttime establishments, as well as our student unions, to make sure that there's support there for people that may think they've been spiked. It's quite a difficult one because we don't want to put the onus onto victims, so a lot of it normally goes onto women, and some of the clubs are putting out support like drink toppers or the little lids that you put into the drinks, but what we really want to do is put the action onto the perpetrators of these crimes.
The sentence for spiking is 10 years. Do you think that it should be higher?
So spiking needs to be an offence in itself. At the moment it's covered in the Sexual Offence Act, but it's not an offence in itself. So I think there needs to be proper legislation that covers it, and I think also there needs to be an awareness that spiking isn't just, you know, putting drugs in somebody's drink. You can spike somebody by maybe buying them doubles instead of singles, giving them alcohol. You know, there needs to be more of that awareness, and I don't think as well that people do know that it's a 10-year sentence. That's quite a big sentence to give for a crime, and that just shows how serious it is. But yeah, definitely needs its own sentence.
What advice would you give someone if they were going to go out in Birmingham just to make them feel safer?
I don't think I'd give advice to somebody that was going out clubbing. I don't think the onus of responsibility should be on that victim. I think it comes under like victim blaming, and I definitely think, you know, we should be looking at perpetrators, putting the onus on them. we should be allowed to go out and enjoy ourselves without having, fears that you're going to get spiked or walking around in pairs. And I don't think controlling a victim's behaviour is ever going to stop, abuse or violence against them.
We are now in the grounds of Birmingham City University. We are here today to talk to victim Megan and the president of the Student Union, Victoria. Let's go. Thank you so much for being a part of this documentary. Do you want to say your name and a little bit about yourself?
So I'm Meg, I'm 22 years old. I'm currently a third year media and communication student in Birmingham.
So I know you're a victim of spiking. Do you want to tell your story a little bit?
So in 2018 I was a fresher in uni. I'd been at uni for probably about a month, and we went to Snobs in Birmingham, which is very popular, and at some point during the night I must have got separated from my friends. My friends remember that there was some guys trying to sort of separate me from my friends, and then when they tried to get me back, they were quite aggressive about it. I don't have any memory of the night, and my friends don't remember when it happened, but at some point after that altercation, I started acting a lot more intoxicated, I guess, and at first they just thought I was being annoying and was just really drunk. But it didn't take very long for my friends were like, this isn't what Meg is like when she's drunk, this is very different. So my friends realised that I was acting differently than I normally would, and I obviously was causing enough of a fuss that the club's reaction was to kick me out.
Oh, wow.
So I was kicked out of the club, and we got back to our student accommodation, and I was just completely unconscious, and they said I was throwing up blood and stuff like that. So I woke up in hospital, spent a few hours in hospital, and then they eventually kicked me out as well, and then I went home.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's awful. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. Did it stop you from going clubbing after that incident happened?
It definitely did. I didn't go out for a little while after that. But obviously being a student, you do end up wanting to go out and stuff, so I definitely did go out again afterwards, but it made me very aware of that you're not safe in a club necessarily. From a lot of the people I've spoken to, I know that a lot of people that have been spiked, it happened through someone working for the club or the barman or something like that.
Yeah.
So it definitely made me more aware of the fact that you're not necessarily safe in a club, and from my experience of the way the club treated me, that they don't look out for your safety.
Did you have any sort of support from services or charities? Did you reach out to anyone?
I didn't necessarily reach out. I think I was having counselling at the time anyway, so I was talking to my counsellor about that, but I didn't reach out to uni or anything like that. I didn't really want to talk to anyone about it or go seek help because the hospital didn't even really take it seriously, the club didn't really take it seriously, so I didn't really think
Yeah, so
there was
the
any
people
point.
that you thought that would be the most supportive weren't in that sort of situation.
Yeah,
That's-
it was hard. Obviously the hospital did really help and they did look after me, and I felt safe there and everything, but I just remember thinking that I don't know what's happened to me, and I don't know what drug has been put in me,
Yeah,
and they didn't
yeah.
feel the need to check or anything.
Do you think that there should be stricter precautions in the club? Do you think that the security should be basically on it until you're past them basically? Do you know what I mean?
I do definitely feel like there needs to be more protection for people, and that these things get taken seriously. When this happened to me, I was the one that got kicked out. It never even got addressed that something has happened. They didn't care, they just didn't want the problem. They wanted someone else to deal with it.
What sort of support would you have liked to have? I know you said that your friends were a massive part and really helped you. Do you wish that, was there anyone from the uni that you wish that you could have spoke to about, or?
I think it should be a more specific thing, like if you've been spiked or something like that has happened to you, because it was really hard, the fact that I almost felt like it's not really that big of a deal because nothing happened to me. I was fine, my friends got me, like it was essentially the same as if I'd just been drinking way too much that night. But you have that feeling of like something's been taken from me, something's happened that was out of my control.
Hi, thank you for being interviewed today. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Victoria. I'm the current president of the Students' Union, also known as BCUSU.
That's lovely. And why did you want to get involved with this project?
So I absolutely love this project. I think it's bringing the very necessary understanding to people across society about what this agenda means, anti-spiking and safety for women and marginalised people within nighttime safety especially. And I feel like this project allows for more information to be shared to educate the people who can make the decision to prioritise this agenda.
I completely agree. What sort of services are there at the uni that can help someone if they have been spiked and, you know, it's affected their mental health or whatever?
Yes, so there is one specific way that I would recommend to all students, and that is the report and support tool. They need to make a report, a named report, and then the university get in contact with the student. The thing is those reports allow us to not only support the student, but also make changes to... Actually, no, do you know what? It's not changes. It's to make campaigns and awareness and workshops and things like this in conjunction with the Students' Union to create safer spaces for our students externally to the university as well. The other way is more informal, and I don't recommend it, but it's something that students can do, and that's personal tutors and student success advisors. They are usually the first port of call and therefore pastoral care, and they can offer that, I don't know, I suppose it's shoulder to rest on momentarily to find your feet before you go down this process of reporting it.
Does the university sell any sort of cut protectors or things that you can put in drinks to stop people from being spiked?
So, I'm really pleased to announce, because this is officially finalised now, and you're the first ones to hear about it. Ooh. Yes. So secret reveal. That we will have cut protectors so reusable, by the way, cut protectors from September of 2022 in all of the Student Union campus shops. So that is Curzon, that's Parkside, and that is the Seacole shop as well.
A little question for you,
Yes.
personally. If your friend had been spiked, what sort of advice would you give them to make them feel better?
So, I really thought about this question, and if they're coherent, I would ask them to let me know what it is that they want to do. Primarily because when you're in that situation, you feel so overwhelmed that trying to make a decision is difficult. But even if you have some control over the decisions that are being made around you, it helps you to feel more comfortable. But also, if they are conscious and able to talk to me, if they were to then become unconscious, what I would want to do is when they are conscious is to ask for consent to speak on their behalf if they become unconscious. I've been spiked, and one of the things that happened was I was shoved in a taxi on my own.
Oh my God.
Now, consciously, I would not have made that decision, but I also wasn't with people that I knew very well. And what I would have preferred is that they call one of my friends to either come and collect me or supervise what they're doing, anything like this. So if my friend was spiked and was conscious, I would ask for their consent. But if they are unconscious, I would seek medical professional help immediately.
What restrictions do you think should be out there, not necessarily at university, but in general, to, clamp down on this?
So for me, I want to not focus on restrictions, and I don't necessarily feel that there are restrictions that need to be made from my perspective of understanding. But what I do feel we need to do is call out misogynistic behaviour that allows the perpetuation of this violence against women and marginalised genders. We also need to call out harassment. And then the other thing that I think we all need is, and by all, I mean the venues that we have across the city in Birmingham, but also across the UK, is drink testing kits. And then I also feel that charities, universities, colleges that support students who have been impacted by the spiking, to be able to have urine testing kits on site. And then just to kind of encompass all of that into one lovely little package with a bow, we need an effective campaign that focuses on the perpetrator and not the victim. You know, when you are the victim of a spiking incident, you don't want somebody to come up to you and say, well, you should have been using a protective cover. No, the perpetrator shouldn't have been doing what they did. Their behaviour was wrong. And a campaign that calls out that behaviour, a campaign that communicates the need for people to stop the conversation of misogyny and sexism, to eradicate the thinking that it's okay to get what you want because you think that you deserve somebody else's body. That's what we need.
You've mentioned that you've been spiked. Do you mind sharing your story?
Yeah, absolutely, that's fine. Hopefully other people will feel comfortable coming forward if people start sharing their stories too. So I was at my friend's birthday, and I only really knew her from the group, so it was people that I just didn't know. Got to the venue, and I was there for about 45 minutes in total. So that's how quickly this took effect. I went to the bar and bought drinks. I couldn't carry all of the drinks, and I've never done this before, and I've never done it since. I left my drink on the side and took the other drinks to the table for my friend and her partner.
Yeah.
And I then went back to get my drink, had some of my drink, had a bit of a dance. And bear in mind, at this point, I had had what we would consider about 3 drinks, which for me is absolutely fine, well within my tolerance. And this was my 4th drink. I was dancing on the dance floor, and I started to feel a bit wobbly. I was like, that's not good. Put my drink down on the side, and I left it and didn't go back to it. But that's because I didn't come back in. I went outside to see my friend, and I don't remember finding her, and I don't remember anything else from that night. Complete blackout.
Yeah.
I also don't know how I got into my house. I don't know how I got into my room.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got into my bed. I remember waking up the next morning feeling dread. My partner at the time came to see me the day after, as soon as I told them that this had happened. And I just remember crying and crying because I genuinely could not work out what had gone wrong, and I hate having unanswered questions.
Yeah.
There are people out there who can support victims. Birmingham has a long way to go to become 100% safe, but with the help from the local police and ambulance services, this will improve rapidly. If you need support or want to see what you can do to keep yourself and others safe, go to the website on screen to talk to your local support systems.